And it was really interesting. Both have acknowledged in their own life stories how they have benefited from affirmative action to get to where they are today, obviously sitting on the highest court in the nation, but both deciding very differently how to move forward in this country.
Absolutely. You can hear in the justices' opinions themselves, especially those from Justice Clarence Thomas and Sonia Sotomayor and Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson as well, the same passions around this issue that you can sense in the entire country. Justice Clarence Thomas, saying that this was something that he recognized, the problem of racial discrimination. He says he understands how what he called his race, my race, he said, has been ravaged by discrimination and racial prejudice, but he said he held out hope that the nation's original promises of equality embodied in the Declaration and the Constitution will still come true. And Justice Sonia Sotomayor saying that this is a tragedy for the country, that the country nevertheless is in the throes of a movement towards equality that she said will not be stopped. So you could hear the emotions there. As for President Biden, you heard in his remarks the same uncertainty that is now descending on every college and university in the country that uses these kinds of metrics, now outlawed, to reach some kind of diversity on campus, because while affirmative action as we know it is over, the Supreme Court just ended it, the Supreme Court in Chief Justice Roberts' opinion did not say you can never consider race. You consider it, he said, on an individual basis, depending on how it affected the individual applicant. But as Justice Sonia Sotomayor points out, that will invite a plethora of litigation and what she called chaos. Because Chief Justice Roberts did not define really any more than that rather vague, pointing at the individual story, how race will factor in to the construction of the diverse student bodies that colleges and universities around the country are used to and want to continue because they believe it enriches the educational experience for all.
Yeah, it leaves the door open for interpretation as to how to move forward. Terry, thank you. And in fact, in that decision from the Chief Justice, John Roberts, they do talk about how it can't simply be replaced now with an essay that talks about race, but that, in other words, the student must be treated based on his or her experience as an individual, not on the basis of race. Many universities have for far too long done just the opposite. That was in the opinion handed down from the court. But as Terry was just talking about, one of the other significant developments of the day is you have justices on the court that have acknowledged that affirmative action has helped them get to where they are today, but then they have differed on this notion of whether or not to continue that for the next generation coming up behind them. Clarence Thomas arguing not to move forward with affirmative action, something that helped him along the way. Sonia Sotomayor, Ketanji Brown Jackson, emphatic in their dissent today, saying that's simply not the case. We should be continuing this for future generations, trying to, improve upon the lot that their family might be in this country. I want to bring in Rachel Scott, who is covering the race for the White House. Reaction almost immediately. We just listened to the president there, Rachel. Not a lot he can do, but he is signaling to universities.
Once again, you've been watching the coverage of President Joe Biden speaking
across the economic sector. Companies that have encouraged a diverse workforce to continue not to be swayed by what they've heard from the court. And when it comes to schools themselves, he said they should not abandon student bodies of diverse backgrounds and work to get there. In the meantime, you're hearing from Republican candidates.
Once again, you've been watching the coverage of President Joe Biden's reaction to the Supreme Court's decision to end the affirmative action program for colleges. We'll have much more of that coming up in the next half hour, but we want to get to some local news. The extreme heat now disrupting daily life. Folks in Comal County area now told to stop outdoor water usage.
All this in an effort to conserve water. Here's a look at the areas affected. They include Bulverde, the city of Blanco, and Spring Branch.
Today, Texas Water Company sent customers a notice saying it's seen excessive water usage and consumption due to the excessive lawn watering and landscape irrigation. That, paired with ongoing transmission line repairs, have led to low water storage.
The utility says the high demand could eventually impact its ability to provide safe drinking water to the area. So until further notice, the communities on your screen will be in an emergency watering stage.
So what we need is some lower temperatures and some rain.
Yes.
Do we have it anywhere in sight?
We do, David. We do have some chances of rain coming up, and that is really good. But we're also starting to work back into our drought situation, too. I'm going to show you the drought monitor coming up in just a bit. And we still have several areas, including Canyon Lake, that are well within that drought. So some rain would be a really, really good thing, especially with July 4th coming up. Let me show you the watches and warnings as far as heat goes currently. Notice that most of Texas is starting to get rid of their heat advisories. This is all pushing east now. Excessive heat warnings for Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee, with our heat high moving east and moving away from us. Doesn't mean it won't be hot today. It still will, but we'll have temperatures just a little bit lower than they've been over the last couple of days. Any sort of morning clouds really starting to go away. We've got a lot of sun now at the moment. Temperatures are pushing 90 degrees here in town. 90 in Pleasanton, 88 Hondo, 87 in Kerrville, and around Bexar County. We're right at that 90-degree mark. Heat index close to 94 in Bulverde, 98 right now is what it feels like in New Braunfels and Gonzales, 94 in Hondo, 92 in Uvalde. Our KSAT 12-hour forecast. Temperatures here will get close to 100 this afternoon. Heat index will be anywhere from 101 to 102. And then look for clear skies tonight with some more clouds building in by tomorrow morning. As I said, we'll take a look at that drought monitor. Plus, we'll check in on the tropics with some activity in the Pacific. The latest on that here in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Justin. New at noon, a jury is now deliberating in the trial of a man accused of shooting and killing his aunt 4 years ago. Both the state and defense gave closing arguments this morning. The state saying that Phipps intentionally killed 65-year-old Becky Ibarra on June 4th, 2019. Meanwhile, the defense said Phipps was just defending himself when Ibarra pushed him down onto a table. It is now up to the jury to decide, and they can also consider the lesser charge of manslaughter. Stay with KSAT.com and KSAT12 for the latest once a verdict is reached. Erica Hernandez will also have a full report later this afternoon. And from north to south and east to west, San Antonio firefighters and homeowners are dealing with a dangerous trend across the city. They're all being put at risk due to a recent string of fires in vacant homes and buildings. Katrina Weber tells us why one of those fires early this morning gave crews a case of deja vu.
Smoke in the 100 block of Grosvenor Boulevard signals both success and defeat for these San Antonio firefighters.
We had a vacant house that was fully engulfed in flames.
They were successful in stopping the flames from spreading beyond this Southside home, but not from doing irreversible damage here. Not only was no one living here when the fire broke out after 4 this morning, the house had no working utilities. Crews made it through without any injuries or any answers right away about how the fire started. Firefighters say fires like this in vacant homes seem to be happening far too often lately. They say they're not only seeing them throughout the city, but this very house has gone up in flames before. A neighbor shared video of another mysterious fire at the same house last Saturday. Our cameras have captured many others. Within the last 2 months, we've covered at least 10 fires in vacant buildings, including one in April that turned these old apartments on Pecan Valley into a fireball. Another on Flores Street earlier this month damaged an empty but historic home.
Trend, obviously, as you noted on that. So various factors. At this point, it's difficult to pinpoint just one.
While there is no one reason for the fires, there is at least one way to prevent them. Firefighters ask everyone to report any suspicious activity that they see around vacant homes. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
And unfortunately, flames from a house fire not only destroying that home, but damaging another. Fire crews say they were on the north side last night battling those flames in the 1700 block of Brandenburg Drive. That's not far from Highway 281 and Bitters Road. San Antonio Fire Department says it looks like the fire started in the garage area. However, the flames quickly grew and spread. The home where the fire broke out is considered a total loss. The house next door also has significant damage. No other homes were damaged, and firefighters say no one was hurt. Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused the fire.
And a man and two of his children are recovering after police say a driver hit them. It happened just after 9:30 last night on Northwest Military Highway. That's near the HEB on Warsbach on the city's north side. A man was trying to cross the street with his 5 children when they were hit by a driver in an SUV. The father, a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old were taken to the hospital and are expected to be okay. No word on what charges, if any, the driver of the SUV could be facing.
A different crash overnight sent 2 San Antonio police officers to the hospital. It happened just before 12:30 near the intersection of West Avenue and Bassey Road on the north side. Police say the 2 officers were responding to a officer in trouble call when one of them crashed into the other, sending one into a utility pole. Both taken to the hospital, and they both should be okay.
A local summer camp is providing some high-tech fun. Students are getting the chance to make robots and get a head start on the next school year.
And no matter what the number is, he is tall, but now we have the official height of Victor Wembanyama.
Travel headaches plaguing travelers on the northeast side of the country, now making their way to the Lone Star State. The major Texas airport now seeing an uptick in the delays and cancellations.
It is a mess at U.S. airports, and travelers still stranded. And today, Houston's George Bush Intercontinental Airport becoming one of the top 5 airports in the country when it comes to delays and cancellations. And that's according to FlightAware.com. Now, some of the folks affected by those issues, a group of students from Portland, Oregon. The Spanish class took a trip to Panama, but on the way home, they got stuck in Houston. The group of 50 kids and their chaperones had to sleep on the floor, but it wasn't all bad thanks to an airport guardian angel.
First reaction is to get them something to eat, to get them something to drink, because I know they're tired, they're away from home, from their family and friends.
Bridget Mitchell is a customer service airport worker. She rushed to help the group of students when she spotted them sleeping on the ground. Yesterday morning, she says the children were quick to show their gratitude.
These are kids, and I was just so touched by it.
The group finally able to book a flight home yesterday.
What a sweet story. Now, a summer camp here in San Antonio is combining fun and teamwork with kids designing and programming robots. Let's take a look at how this program is preparing students with a passion for robotics for the upcoming school year.
So these motors, these can be used for turns.
At this camp, students like Melissa Perez are on a mission.
It is really fun to be here. You get to learn a lot about the different motors, the wheels, the beams, and how the hub works.
And so are their robots.
I've liked always engineering things.
This summer, students have been working in teams to design and code their robots to successfully complete missions.
If you're more advanced, if you're in junior high, you're learning coding as far as learning the motors, you're learning how to do the block programming, you have a little bit more advanced skills. Whereas if you're an incoming 3rd grader, you're learning just, okay, what is a robot? What are the parts?
The week-long summer robotics camp takes place at Barrera Veterans Elementary School. It prepares students who will be joining the robotics program next school year.
Every student you see here, we had about 49 students enroll in our program this summer. They will be a part of robotics, whether it's at the junior high or the elementary level, they get that precursor.
The district says it currently has about 130 participating robotics students from elementary to junior high, giving students an opportunity to collaborate and problem solve.
We're preparing them for their college and career readiness.
And I had so much fun out there. You all saw me dancing this morning.
Sure did, yeah.
And I was happy to be indoors, actually.
And my question is, can they build me a robot that will go out and mow my yard so I can just sit inside in the AC?
Oh, you know that's coming one day.
I think it's already been invented.
And there goes your exercise right down the chute, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so the aquifer is down half a foot, 633.7. It has fallen some 15 feet just this month alone. So the aquifer is in a free fall here. Some rain would be good. Molds are low at 4:30. We'll talk about when I think rainfall will arrive and how much cooler temperatures may get coming up.
The aquifer's dropping, the lakes are low, water companies are keeping people from watering their yards and man, boy, do we need some rain. We need something. What?
We do.
Jeez. It's not even July 4th yet.
It's true, and it's pretty fascinating how we went from in early June having green lawns and everything was greening up because of the good rain to now everything has just gotten crispy real quick. And I want to show you a number. I think this is pretty amazing. It has been 557 consecutive days that at least some part of South Central Texas has been within a drought. So the last time we were drought free, you got to go back to early December 2021. Okay, so this has been a really long stretch for us where we've been in some kind of drought. We had a little bit of relief here and there. Obviously in late May, early June, we saw some of those drought numbers go away, but they've not completely. But now we're starting to see the drought try to creep back in a little bit. And when you look at the state of Texas, you can see that it is our area that is still really at the worst when you look at the state as a whole. And it is the exceptional drought there in the hill country that really is just, it's been a mainstay. Kerrville to Comfort over to Canyon Lake. This is an area that could desperately need some rain. We do have a little bit in the forecast. I don't know if it's going to be enough to help this. Obviously, it's not going to be drought busting rain, but any little bit helps at this point. And we're starting to see Bexar County. Well, Bexar County had some improvement. Now it's starting to go the other way again. We've got a severe drought for at least half of the county. So as we go outside for you, there is no rain today. It's going to be another hot one, 89. Dew point is at 70. Heat index is at 94. South-southeasterly winds at about 11. We did have some morning clouds, so at least there was a little bit of natural shade out there for a few hours, but those clouds have pretty much gone away at this point. We're seeing temperatures get up close to 90 now. 91 in New Braunfels, 90 in Gonzales, 94 Cotulla, 90 out in Del Rio. And by the way, Del Rio, for the first time in, 10, 11 days, will probably not set a record high today. So that's good. We're moving in the right direction here. 84, Bernie Stage, 88 right now in Comfort. Dew points have dropped now down to 70, and they'll continue to drop down into the 60s. So like the last couple of days, the heat index won't be as bad this afternoon. We'll tack on a degree or two for that feels like number. But the heat index is really only going to be around 101, 102 with an air temperature somewhere around 100 for a high today. 93 at 8 p.m., 91 at 9 p.m. with clear skies tonight, and clouds probably build back in again tomorrow. It is still another CPS Energy yellow day. You'll want to conserve energy between 3 and 8 p.m. We've been in this situation for several days now, and it's because of our heat high, but it is moving away and is now moving east. So our friends out in Louisiana and Mississippi, they're now starting to get some really big temperatures. The forecast for today, 100 in Jackson, 103 in Shreveport, 102, Little Rock, 100 in New Orleans. It's going to feel a lot warmer than that with a lot of humidity down there. And still hot in Texas. It's just not that extreme heat that we were dealing with. And as we look at the futurecast here, high pressure continues to push east and away from us, which opens the door for some rain chances Monday and Tuesday. Not drought-busting rain, just some isolated afternoon stuff. Good to see it, though. And very quickly, we do need to touch on the tropics. One system here in the Atlantic. We're not going to worry about that. In the Pacific, though, we've got two developing systems. One's a hurricane. That's Adrian. And then tropical depression number 2, which is interesting because this is going to actually move north and affect the coast of Mexico, the west coast of Mexico, and could even throw a little bit of moisture in our direction, some upper level moisture. We'll watch it. Won't have a big effect, but getting active in the Pacific for sure. 100 tomorrow, 99 Saturday, 98 on Sunday. We start to get more clouds, and look at the temperatures next week. 95 for the 4th of July with a 20% chance of rain. That's a cool down.
I'm excited for 90s.
We're excited for 95.
That's 5 days in a row with at 100.
Yeah, it's nice, right?
Like that.
Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Spurs giving out some basketball dollars to some youngsters on a brand new court. We've got that for you coming up. And Clark Cougar showing off the bling at a celebration. All right, we finally know exactly how tall the #1 NBA draft pick really is. Write this down. Victor Wembanyama is 7'3.5", and that is without shoes because that's the way the NBA does it. So he has grown because that's a half inch taller than Wemby said he was back in October. And his game day debut in a Spurs uniform is going to have to wait because he will not join the team in Sacramento for the California Classic. That tips off July 3rd. He's going to join the Spurs in Las Vegas instead. Wemby will practice with the Summer League squad until the team departs for Sacramento on Saturday. Charles Bassey is impressed with Wemby's game.
I mean, I haven't met him yet, but, I've seen videos, I've seen, in the introduction and everything, it's going to be a fun year, man. It's going to be a good season, he's got it, he's got talent, he knows how to shoot it, he can play.
Speaking of Bassy, 50 kids got to play on the newly renovated basketball court at Rainbow Hills Park. Bassy and Blake Wesley celebrated by holding a basketball clinic for the kids. Spurs Give, the City of San Antonio's Parks and Recreation Department, and the San Antonio Retail Merchants Association came through once again.
We're not naive enough to know that just putting a basketball court in a community is the thing that changes a community. We are also aware enough to know that showing up in community with the Spurs commitment to ensuring that we build leaders and we build legacies for the future, we got to create space to do that. And the basketball court is a starting point for that. It's a starting point for most young people as they think about their next step, their journey. And so sport is that space. It's not just the court, right? It's the engagement with young people. It's the commitment with families. It's the Spurs Youth Basketball League. It's the ways that we connect our resources to get families what they need in that community that makes it last. The court is the car, the relationship, the engine.
The kids, ages 6 to 14, took part in basketball drills, skills competitions led by Spurs Sports Academy coaches. Hey, in the bigs last night, the Astros beat the Cardinals 10-7. The Rangers beat up on the Tigers 10-2. Josh Jung, 2 runs batted in last night. And in Texas League action, the Rough Riders beat the Missions at the Wolf 4-2 in that series opener. And the Clark High School girls basketball team held a ring ceremony last night to celebrate their UIL Class 6A state championship. There's the cake and then the ring. Ooh, that's a nice piece of jewelry. Perry's Pizzeria and Tap House near 1604 and I-10 hosted the event. The Cougars went 34-3 overall, 16-0 in district. Wrapped up their wonderful season back in early March by beating DeSoto in the Class 6A state championship 42-37 at the Dome. The girls recently received their championship rings, and the coach wanted a ring ceremony so they could celebrate one more time before some of her seniors go off to college.
It's a really special moment for us. We've been kind of waiting on the rings, waiting on the culmination for a while now. So we're all really excited and really, just grateful for this opportunity and, what God blessed us with the talent, the ability, the skill to be able to bring a championship to San Antonio.
This moment, it's like, I don't know, it enlightens all of us. I can say, speak for all of us. It's so surreal. It's a dream come true, honestly, and to do it one last time, with this fun group and having everyone here one last time, it's so special and it means a lot to us.
Speaking of Ariana, whoa, did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
The big slam. She said she threw that down at her brother's camp, and that even surprised herself. The look on her face, surprised, and of course, happy. One more time. Yeah, get up there and get it. Look at that.
So talented.
Boom. That's good stuff.
That bling, though, right?
And yeah, they like that. Congratulations to them. That's
Big
fun to have a big
congratulations.
party to celebrate just for them. Good stuff.
Awesome. Now, new today at 5, grocery prices still causing sticker shock when you walk down store aisles. Some things have decreased while others continue to rise. So what do local grocery prices currently look like? We'll show you today at 5 after Entertainment Tonight.
And downtown at Market Square, they're getting ready to introduce us to some food from a new modern Irish pub, as well as drink and fun. And it's Thursday, so look at what is that? That looks like a deviled egg, doesn't it?
So good. In a major 6-3 Supreme Court ruling, the use of affirmative action in higher education effectively upending the use of race as a factor in college admissions.
ABC's Im Nguyen has more on what this means for diversity among college campuses after this morning's ruling.
In a major 6-3 Supreme Court ruling, the justices split along conservative and liberal lines, with the conservative majority striking down the use of affirmative action in higher education, effectively upending the use of race as a factor in college admissions in order to achieve diversity in college campuses. The court had heard 2 cases challenging the admissions policies of Harvard and the University of North Carolina.
No more, according to the Supreme Court today, of this effort to achieve diversity overall by looking at the identity, not the story or experiences, but the identity of a student alone.
Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson recused herself from the Harvard case, but offered her dissent in the UNC case, saying the devastating impact of this decision cannot be overstated. Racial inequality will persist so long as it is ignored. In October, after nearly 5 hours of oral arguments, Justice Clarence Thomas expressed his skepticism about affirmative action.
I've heard the word diversity quite a few times, and I don't have a clue what it means. It seems to mean everything for everyone.
2 cases were before the court, both brought by a conservative advocacy group asking judges to reverse 4 decades of precedent. In the first one, Edward Bloom argued Harvard discriminates against Asian American applicants by using subjective standards to score their personalities. In the second, he alleged the University of North Carolina discriminates against white and Asian American students by giving preference to Black, Hispanic, and Native American applicants. Both institutions deny the allegations. This ruling forces higher education to look for new ways to achieve diverse student bodies. And while the court did find that race could be used in those college admissions essays, those essays can't be used to circumvent what the court just ruled. M. Nguyen, ABC News, the Supreme Court.
More than $3 billion now going to prevent and reduce homelessness across America. The White House says the main focus is to help homeless veterans. The Department of Housing, Urban Development, and Veterans Affairs is launching a new series of boot camps to help quickly rehouse veterans. The VA says it's currently on track to rehouse 38,000 veterans this year. And a new study showing that using opioid medications for back pain might not actually work. The study looked at people who used opioid for lower back pain. It found opioids weren't any more helpful than the placebo other people received. Researchers also found opioids appear to cause harm even after short-term sensible use. Those that use opioids had worse mental health scores and more side effects.
More cities are now pushing for alternatives for 4th of July celebrations after air quality concerns. Smoke from the Canadian wildfires continue to spread into the Midwest. Drought and air pollution concerns are calling for different ways to celebrate the 4th of July. Instead of the usual firework display, Arizona and Colorado are offering laser light shows. Another concern is metallic particles released into the air from fireworks that have harmful health consequences.
You may experience aggravation of symptoms. Shortness of breath is a common one. Sometimes you have sort of irritation in your eyes.
Another alternative to fireworks that seems to be popular, drones. Salt Lake City and Boulder, Colorado are among those participating in different ways to celebrate 4th of July this year.
Now it looks like we're going to have kind of a relatively dry 4th of July this year, but maybe not quite as hot as it's been over the last couple of days. And that is welcome news.
I'll take that.
I agree with you. And there is a small chance of a pop-up shower storm on July 4th, but I don't think it's going to interrupt any of our plans. We do know that it has been dry. One indicator of that is our aquifer. I wanted to show you this very quickly. The Edwards Aquifer, we started the month at around 648, which is still well below average, but it has dropped significantly now that things have dried out. We're down to 633.7, and of course we're in pumping season right now, but the numbers have really dropped off. So the aquifer headed in the wrong direction. We are still, though, in stage 2 watering restrictions for SAWS customers, which is once a week watering between 7 and 11 a.m. and 7 and 11 p.m. We'll keep you posted where that lands next few days. It's probably will keep going down. Rain chances, as we said, are there Monday and Tuesday. They're low, 20%, but we should get some at least pop-up afternoon stuff on the radar. As far as today is concerned, forecasting a high around 100, the heat index close to 102, which puts us in the very high category, not the extreme heat indices that we have been seeing, and it gets even better over the next few days. We'll look at that. Plus, you just saw the smoke there across the northern part of the country. We'll update you on that forecast and where some of that smoke is headed coming up.
Thank you, Justin. Now to that Titan submersible catastrophe. Crews recovering what was left of the underwater craft that killed all 5 people on board.
ABC's DeMarco Morgan explains what investigators are now analyzing from the wreckage to determine what went wrong.
Coast Guard officials now confirming that presumed human remains have been carefully recovered as the first debris from the Titan submersible is lifted to shore. Investigators using cranes to lift large pieces of the wreckage, what appears to be a panel from the exterior of the sub and one of its end caps. Canadian authorities saying they have inspected, documented, and cataloged the materials for its safety investigation, including sending the Titan's voyage data recorder to a lab in Ottawa before turning the debris over to the U.S. Coast Guard for its investigation. Former NTSB investigator Tom Halter telling ABC News it's unclear what happened without the pressurized vessel section where the passengers were.
Once you get more of the pressure vessel area, the compartment where the passengers were, we can start looking at what failed.
Investigators will also analyze the design and carbon fiber composite construction of the sub. OceanGate had been warned by industry experts and a former employee that material at extreme depths could weaken with each dive.
I can't recall the NTSB or Canada or anyone else outside of the military doing a submarine accident investigation. So this is new ground for a lot of the investigators.
There is still a lot of work to be done to understand the factors that led up to this tragic incident. Investigators will continue to conduct interviews and collect evidence in the days to come. In New York, DeMarco Morgan, ABC News.
Decades worth of research gone after a janitor's mistake. Next, what he did. And then the school is suing his employer for more than $1 million in damages.